Hey there, comic book fans. I'm John Andersen, and I just watched episode 19 of Gotham, and it was okay. We got the introduction of Azrael and a couple Easter eggs here and there throughout the episode. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, keep in mind I'm going to be going through key plot points from the episode. So here is your spoiler warning. And there it goes. Now, in the opening scene of this episode, we have a confrontation between Hugo Strange and Jim Gordon, and both characters kind of want to figure out where they are in regards to the overall plot of the season. And as audience members, we know that both of them are on the same page. They have a clear understanding of who's the hero, who's the villain. They just don't know it yet. And it's really cool to see that Jim's going to battle Hugo Strange with his wit, because it's obvious that Hugo Strange as a villain is not a very physical threat. And it's nice to see that, given that Jim has brute force, that he's going to use his wit as well. And speaking of wit, we see Enigma relishing in his new surroundings at Arkham, seeing how all the different inmates tick, and taking it upon himself to figure out what Hugo Strange is really planning, finding the Indian Hill facility of Arkham, and it'll be interesting to see how he factors in to that plot line, because at first it seems that Hugo Strange isn't really interested in Ed, and I think that's just because he's not aware of the craziness that we know the Riddler character will become eventually, and we get a tease of that idea that I mentioned in a previous video, that he's obsessed with being the smartest person in the room with his slight encounter with Jim in this episode. And as I alluded to in the beginning of the episode, we have the birth of Azrael, which in my opinion was a little cheesy, how Hugo Strange manipulates him with tall tales just to make him a henchman to kill Jim Gordon. But once he dons the outfit, he really embodies the comic book character of Azrael that we've seen in various incarnations, especially in the Arkham video game series. We also get two Easter eggs to the greater Batman mythos. In one scene, you have Jim talking to Bruce about how you can't just kill people because that makes you no better than the people you're trying to defeat, which is a clear nod to Batman's moral code. And we have a nice exchange with Captain Barnes and Jim where he's joking saying you'll never be commissioner, which we all know in the comics, Jim Gordon eventually becomes commissioner of the GCPD. And speaking of Captain Barnes, in my opinion, we have his timely death because Captain Barnes as a character always was a foil for Jim, and I never really liked him as a character. He never really grew, he was kind of one note, and it was about time to see him killed off. And I think it was done as effectively as you could have because it really showed the threat that was Azrael. And finally, it's revealed to all of Gotham that Azrael is actually Theo Galvan, which is definitely going to create some conflict for people that are very close to Theo, like his sister Tigress and Butch, and people that have a vendetta against him, like Penguin, and only time will tell how all these different characters will factor in to the rest of the season. So that's my thoughts on episode 19. If you guys like this video, be sure to share and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook at John Ryan Andersen, or on Instagram and Twitter at The Comic Look. Remember guys, as always, comics do deserve a second look.